Hello, and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name is John Ainsworth, and today's guest is Seth Greene. Now, before we start learning from Seth today, I've got an important question for you. Do you own a course or an authority website? And if you do you know there's a short list of techniques that can help you double to quadruple your revenue? If you want to learn more about what they are and get your free personalized report, then go to courseprofitreport.com. Now back to the show. Seth, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much. I am super excited to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. So one of the things that our audience does is they're really, really good at building up an audience themselves. They're really good at either Instagram or YouTube or SEO and building up a following. They're also really good at course creation. They're experts in a topic. There's someone who has spent years becoming an expert. They've made courses which are fantastic. But generally, they're less good at how do you then get the people from the audience to come and actually buy your course from you. So they're not converting nearly enough of the audience into buying from them. Now, I know that you've got 5 principles of magical marketing. Can you please talk us through it, help our audience to understand what they can do in order to sell more courses?
Absolutely. So I call it magical marketing because it makes new sales, new course subscribers, new buyers appear like magic, almost as if you had a magic wand. So let's dive in. The first one, the most important one that will inform 50% of the success or failure of any marketing campaign for your course is going to be, who is your target market? So a lot of course creators get this wrong. They go way too broad. I'll give you an example of a local bricks and mortar business that everybody can relate to. And then I'll give you an example of an online course where this principle actually worked. So in our marketing firm at marketdominationllc.com, we have both local clients here in Buffalo, where I live, where we're headquartered, and then the majority of our clients are nationwide. And had a client do a consultation with us. And the first question I ask of anyone, and I'll ask it of your folks as well, is who's your target market? And he said he's a dentist. And he says, oh, that's easy. I'm a dentist. I can help anybody with teeth. Exactly. That was my response. And I said, oh, there's so many ways that's not a good target market, but it's too broad, right? He doesn't really want anybody with teeth because not all of them can afford him. He doesn't want anybody with teeth because some of them don't live near him. Some of them would be a pain to have as a patient. Some of them want work he doesn't want. So we were able to interview him, interview his staff, go through his CRM, ask him a ton of questions and do a deep dive and determine that his real target market that he had the budget to go after was a 45 to 55-year-old suburban affluent woman who had gotten divorced in the last 6 months, was starting to date again, was terrified of competing against younger women, wanted to do something to improve her appearance, but was afraid of cosmetic surgery. We literally physically remodeled his entire practice from looking like it was built in the 1970s with dark wood paneling and shag carpet, which is true. It was from the 70s. He had never updated it. We remade it to look like a super high-end medical spa. Not saying your course creators have to remodel their course or anything, but we remodeled it. He fired all of his other patients. He went all in on the divorce niche. He offered a $25,000 cash divorce smile makeover, no insurance. You have to bring a friend with you. You get picked up in a Rolls-Royce limo. You sit in massage chairs while you get your dental work done. They have mani-pedi extensions. You're getting a mani-pedi while you get your teeth done. Your best friend sit next to you drinking champagne. At the end, you get taken to a salon where they do your hair. You then get taken shopping with a personal shopper who picks out 3 new outfits for you. You then go get your makeup done. It then takes you to a photography studio where you get new pictures in your new hair, new makeup, new teeth for dating websites. And then the Rolls-Royce limo takes you home. So he works 4 days a week now instead of 7. He makes 400% more money with less overhead. And all he does is 1 divorce smile makeover a day, 4 days a week. So that's the power of reinventing your business for a specific target market. So how does that apply to an online course creator? We had a course creator whose course was about how to invest in real estate. And it was a very specific sub niche of real estate investing. And they had been having trouble scaling their course online. And what we did was we identified that one of their top target markets, looking at who buys your course the most, who gets the most success out of it, it was corporate executives who were men who were over the age of 50 who wanted to get out of the rat race. They're realizing, I don't want to do this for another 10 or 20 years before I retire. I want to go do something else. I'm worried about getting downsized. So rebuilt his funnel. We rewrote his webinar. We rewrote the follow-up sequence, all aimed at how to quit the corporate rat race and make your executive level income part-time in the real estate space. And we were able to increase his sales literally 4x in 90 days, which is not normal. Past performance, no guarantee of future success. But he was absolutely thrilled that just by changing his target market, we could totally change his business.
So let's dig into that a little bit then. So we really, really emphasize with people about understanding their customer avatar. And what you're talking about here is really niching down within it. Now, with the dentist, was it that those women aged 45 to 55 were already his best clients, or was he getting that from somewhere else and like making a bet on a different approach?
Okay, so we invented the Divorce Smile Makeover process with the service, hair, makeup, Rolls Royce, pictures, all that stuff. Before, he did do cosmetic dentistry, but he marketed it the same way every other dentist did, just broad, anybody will do your smile makeover. So it wasn't done with any conscious purpose. When we found out that his favorite 4 or 5 top patients were women who had gotten divorced, we figured out, he'd tell us their story. We discovered that that was the issue, that was what they were, that's why they wanted the smile makeover. And then we don't normally have to remodel an entire building, but if I showed you pictures of his 1970s office versus the med spa it looks like now, I was like, we can't go market a $25,000 cash divorce smile makeover to these affluent women and have them come into yellow shag carpeting and brown wooded walls. I'm like, you'll repel them.
Yeah. I think that's the crucial thing here, right? Is that everybody generally has already got people who are their biggest fans, who are spending the most money with them or who are the perfect fit, but they're then putting all the effort into everything else as well. And what you're saying here is that he already had these 4 or 5 top clients. And then he said, right, these are the ones who we make the most money with, who we do the best with, who we like the most, who have got the most money to spend with us, what have you. Now let's redo the whole offer based around them. And I think everybody listening, if they can look at the way we normally do it is we'll do a survey out to all the existing customers and we'll do a separate survey out to the rest of the audience, trying to understand, okay, well, what is in common about these people? And then you can narrow everything in, right? You can narrow in the language that you use, you can narrow in the design style that you use, the making, which courses are going to be most relevant to those people, everything about that particular audience, which is like, you've done it to an extent that most people would never even dream of doing, that you've thought way bigger than most people would. But even just narrowing that down is like incredibly helpful.
Absolutely. And the more you niche it down, the more money you'll make, the faster you'll make it. And the more the people will actually be helped by it. Because, when they just said make money in real estate, they converted a small number of people who came and watched the webinar. And we had to rewrite their webinar because it needed massive help. And we rewrote it for that target market. So they kept doing what they were doing, but we created a new funnel, new webinar, new offer stack, all aimed at that corporate rat race guy, middle-aged guy. And again, quadrupled their sales in 90 days because we aimed at the right offer at the right market.
Nice. That's beautiful. Yeah. And we've done the same thing with our business very much. Like we used to just do funnels. And then we're like, okay, now we do funnels just for people online. And then it was just, okay, just for course creators. Then it was just for course creators who've already got an established audience, but don't have funnels. And it was like kept finding like, what's the 80-20? What's the people we get the absolute best results for? Keep narrowing down until you just focus on them. Okay. So is that step 1 out of the 5 steps? Okay.
That is the most important step. If you get the target market properly defined, niched down enough, everything else will become easier and it will work faster and it will work better.
Beautiful. All right, cool. What's step 2?
Well, now that we've defined who we're going after, we have to define where we are going to find them, because they have to be reachable and they have to be reachable in an affordable way based on your marketing budget. So those divorced women who were 45 plus, at the time we created this, TikTok didn't even exist yet and Snapchat was new. So they weren't on Snapchat yet because their kids weren't on it yet because it was brand new. So that affluent suburban woman we were able to target not just online, but offline. Did we find her on Facebook? Absolutely. However, one of our biggest sources of referrals for that dentist was, we said, if this woman is going to get divorced, who's the first person she tells? And we realized it was her hairdresser.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Before she calls a divorce, starts calling lawyers. Before she tells her therapist, who couldn't tell us anyway, she tells her hairdresser that they're having marital problems, because her hairdresser is like her surrogate therapist. So by marketing his practice to every high-end salon and dripping on them every single month, once a quarter, dropping by with donuts, pizza, coffee, feeding them, keeping their brochures stocked, putting up a rack in the lobby, when the hairstylist sends someone over, giving that hairstylist a commission that might be more than they made that month. As a hairstylist, he locked down, there were at least 13 salons in his area that send him cases every single month. And every other dentist, of course, is now screaming, going, well, we do cosmetic dentistry too, but none of them have marketed it this way. None of them have positioned it this way. And none of them see the back end of the service. And none of them are willing to go, you mean I got to go find a hairstylist to do their hair? I got to go find a professional shopper. I got to go find a salon. I got to go find a photographer. I just want to do dentistry. Well, by just doing dentistry, they get the results every other dentist gets. Our dentist works half as much, makes 4 times as much money, because he's willing to do something they're not. It works the same in the course creator space. So depending on what course, who you are selling your course to, is going to affect where you find them, right? Our corporate rat race guys for real estate weren't on Facebook. They were, because they have kids, but it wasn't something like, they weren't checking it 5 times a day. They were on LinkedIn. Their profiles had pictures, had regular posts, and were actively open to opportunities, which meant secret code, they're looking for another job.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we marketed them on LinkedIn, I guarantee you we were the only real estate course marketing to corporate executives on LinkedIn. Because nobody would think to do that, right?
Got it. Okay. So you've gone out, you figured out the target audience, you figured out
where they are
about them,
yep.
Found where they are. And so now you can go out and connect with them. So was that like a direct outreach approach that you're taking with those guys on LinkedIn then?
We had 2 steps. There were 2 parts to that process. One was direct manual labor, one of my employees doing manual outreach all day, every day. And then that was to test organic versus we did paid LinkedIn ads. We did them differently than everybody else, because if you do just newsfeed ads on LinkedIn, they're ridiculously expensive. We have another way to do it that works a whole lot better, a whole lot faster, a whole lot cheaper, that worked incredibly well to land in their inbox and get them interested.
Beautiful. Okay.
But you can't do that unless you know who they are and unless you know where they are, because every target market is different and they're not all on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And you also want to be as much in a competitive vacuum as you can be. Right? If I run it, I could have run. My wife is a blogger, vlogger, podcaster, course creator in the parenting and marriage space. If I run Facebook ads to the stay-at-home moms she want to reach, I'm competing with everybody else trying to target them. But we've had a whole lot more luck, let's say, running ads on other people's podcasts aimed at the target market. We've had good luck on TikTok. We've had, which isn't oversaturated yet. We've had good luck on sponsored email blasts to moms groups. So I want to show up where I have less competition, if at all possible.
Nice. Okay. So you're looking for a combination then of not just where they are, but where are they that other people in your niche aren't, so that you've got
it all possible.
Perfect.
Doesn't always work that way, but if we dig hard enough, we can usually find something that'll work.
Okay. So what's the process there for figuring that out? It sounds like it's look at the target market, understand where they are, interview them. Is it surveys? Is it interviews? Is it kind of all of the above, or?
All of the above, surveys, interviews. You'd be surprised what you can find in direct mail research, because privacy is dead. Direct mail tends to work really, really well because fewer people are doing it. There's a lot of online sites you can use for research to find out where your target market is hanging out, whether it's similar web or what runs where or stuff like that, that you can find where they are online.
Beautiful. All right, cool. So step one, figure out your target audience. Step two, figure out where they are, ideally where somebody else isn't. What's step three?
What are you going to do that's different?
Okay.
So we've got to position you differently than everybody else who does what you do. Because if everyone says the same thing, the customer doesn't know how to tell the difference. And by default, they go with the lowest price.
Mm-hmm.
So we want our clients to be the highest price course creator in their market. I don't want them, if everyone is selling at $997, $1,000, I don't want them selling at $1,000. I want them selling at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 because we have a perception as human beings that you get what you pay for. So I want to be the premium priced offer. They will immediately assume I am better because I am more money. And the people who buy a higher priced course will be easier clients. They'll be low maintenance. They'll be more likely to implement it. They'll be easier to deal with and more likely to refer. The bottom 20% of people who buy courses cause 80% of your customer service headaches. So we prefer to avoid them in the first place, so that don't sell your course on Thinkific for $97. You're going to get people complaining that it was $97 and there wasn't enough stuff in it, even though you got 40 modules. Sell the same course off of Thinkific for $5,000 and you'll have people who love it. So we've got to position what you do is different. So whether that's, hey, could you learn the same real estate stuff on another person's course? You could, but they didn't position it as here's how to quit the corporate rat race in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's positioned as what you do is different. In one of my business, I own 4 businesses. One of them is howtofindmoneyforcollege.com. And our claim to fame is we cut the cost of college tuition $19,077 per year per kid. That works a whole lot better and captivates parents' attention than just saying we're a college planner and they think, oh, my financial advisor can help me with a 529 plan, which is actually a really bad idea. But that's what they think unless we show up differently and position what we do is different, which is why that's principle number 3.
Nice. Okay. Is that generally about positioning more in the sales material, or is it actually about then changing the product a lot of times? Because with your dentist, they change the whole product and change the positioning.
Correct. You don't have to necessarily change the product itself. You just have to change how you market it. Mm-hmm. We've done that for our financial services course creators a lot, where we take a product that's existed in the financial services marketplace for hundreds of years and literally has hundreds of people selling it with their spin on it. So we can't use the same spin everybody else is using. We have to come up with new spin that makes it look different.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a physically different product. It could still be life insurance. It could still be an annuity. But if we call it something different, if we market it something different, all of a sudden we get attention that we otherwise wouldn't have gotten.
Got it. And how much of the time is that about positioning it for a different audience, and how much of it is about like the unique mechanism and saying we do it in a different way in your experience?
It's not like 50-50. There's no hard and fast rule. In my ideal world, you do both.
Okay. So coming up with a unique mechanism and saying we've got this really specific niche that we're doing it for.
Right. It is a unique mechanism for a specific niche.
Perfect. Okay. I love it. All right, cool. So we've identified our target audience. We've decided where to find them. We've changed the positioning. What's now step 4?
Yep. We did who, where, what. Next is why. Why should they do business with you as opposed to anyone else who does what you do, including doing nothing? Most course creators don't realize doing nothing is their competition. They don't have to buy from you. You got to get people off the couch to take advantage of your offer and actually be disturbed enough to buy something, right? Nobody moves unless they're disturbed enough to move. So we have to answer the question, why do I need your course? Why should I do business with you? And we call the answer to that a magical marketing proposition. And the answer's got to be compelling enough that it isn't we give great customer service or we've been in business since 19 whatever, because everybody says they give good customer service. Everybody has testimonials. So we've got to answer that question in a way, you got it right. Call it an elevator pitch. If someone asks you, what do you do when you answer? And they go, oh, you did it wrong. Because when I answer that question, I want to repel the wrong people. Mm-hmm. I want to attract the right people. And I want to get them to say, how do you do that? I didn't know you could do that. Or where have you been all my life? That's how you know you got it right.
Yeah.
Right. If I answer the question, if you ask me what we do on the marketing side, and I say we build you a cult of 50 evangelists who will promote your course every week for a year, your answer is, holy beep, sign me up. How do you do that? Tell me more. Because I didn't just say we do marketing, because we don't just do marketing. We grow your business so you can run it in a very unique way. So if I answer the college question, what do you do? And I say, we help affluent parents, who are sending their kids to elite private colleges, cut the cost of college by X amount a year. If your kid's going to state school, you don't want to talk to me. If your kid, if you aren't affluent or don't think of yourself as that, you don't want to talk to me. Only my target market will say, oh my God, tell me more. I want my kid to go to an elite private school. I think it's too much money. How do you save me money?
Okay.
It's a literal one sentence lead generation ad.
Nice. Okay. And what do you suggest? Is there like a process people can work through in order to figure out for themselves, if they've figured out all the other steps already, what that is for them? Because it sounds like there's some real art to that one.
There's a lot of art and a lot of science and a lot of data. I mean, marketing boils down to people overcomplicate it. It ultimately boils down to two things. It is behavioral psychology, why we do the things we do, and it's math. The math is traffic, conversion, economics. The behavioral psych, to me, is the more fascinating part of, your prospect. This isn't the first thing they've ever bought to solve this problem. They've bought other products, courses, books, tapes from Amazon, wherever, and it didn't work. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking anymore, right? If our corporate guys had quit the rat race already and were rich, independently wealthy, didn't need to work, they wouldn't be looking. So we need to explain to our prospect in such a way as to why all those other times failed, why it wasn't their fault, and why this time will be different. So they try again, right? Stereotypically, I mean, every woman has most likely tried more than one diet, right? Any woman who's ever wanted to lose weight. My wife has probably tried let's say a dozen different diets. Well, if one worked for every person forever, there'd only be one diet. So if I want to get her to do I'm not selling her diet products, but if I wanted to get her to try if I was marketing a diet product to her, I would have to tell her, here's why Atkins, keto, isogenics, and these other 7 things failed. It was them, not you. You didn't do it wrong. It was them. And here's why you can finally trust that this one is the winner.
Got it. Okay. And this sounds like it really pulls out from the positioning step that we've already had. It's like you've got the positioning, but then you've got to boil that down to like, okay, let's really summarize this in a way that stands out for your target audience and compels them to want to take action.
Yeah. If you think about it, if you read my friend Sally Hogshead, if you read Fascinate, I think, what is it? We have now a 9-second attention span. It's down to less than that of a goldfish. So if you've only got 9 seconds, that one sentence to capture their attention, whether it's a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad or whatever, the first couple seconds of a YouTube ad, whatever it is, that video, man, you've got to capture their attention right away. You have to stop the scroll. You have to get people to stop scrolling long enough to see some of what your ad is so that they actually click on it and watch.
And just as a slight tangent, if anybody has not gone through stuff from Sally Hogshead, it is sensational.
Yeah, we've had the good fortune to work for her and help her market Fascinate. And one of my favorite marketing courses of all time, other than those created by Dan Kennedy and Russell Brunson and Jay Abraham. So she's in the top 5.
Yeah.
It is definitely the #1 course in terms of how the world perceives you and how to market that on purpose, which we do every day for our clients. She helped me personally in a situation when I first found her, and she said, stop trying to water yourself down to be what those people want you to be. Find your right target market and be more of yourself on purpose for the right people, and they will love you for it, which worked incredibly well.
Nice. I think the website is howtofascinate.com, and there's an amazing personality quiz on there. It was, when I took it, I got the chance to see Sally talk live and took the quiz and was like, oh, that's what's going on when I talk to people. Now it kind of makes sense. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, because every other person who tells you how you see the world. Fascinate is the only one that tells you how people perceive you.
Yeah.
which was eye-opening to me because I thought I was this way and I didn't realize people were seeing me in a different way. And I said, ooh, now I know, thanks to her, how to capitalize on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So we've got, let me see if I can still do this. We've got identify your customer audience, figure out where they are that other people aren't, figure out your positioning for them, get your magical message. I forget the wording you used.
Magical marketing proposition.
Magical marketing proposition. What's now step 5?
Yep. So you did who, where, what, why. Last one is how. How are you going to communicate why you're different with what you do to your target market in a form of media that you can affordably use to reach them? So it's the automated marketing system that drives all of that, that runs the marketing or the ads that drive people to the webinar or the funnel, that get people to follow through, that get people to buy. It's the whole process for automating that whole thing so that your sales are scalable, predictable, and can grow on autopilot based on how much capacity you have. And if it's a course, theoretically, should that be infinite? Or is there some type of group coaching component with it? Is there a social media community with it? In which case, do you have capacity limitations where, hey, we only let in 10 at a time because we hold your hand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, our real estate guy had a $2,000 course and then or $1,000 course. And it went all the way up to a $50,000 done for you mastermind. We'll fly out and look at houses with you. We'll negotiate for you. We'll do everything with you and make damn sure you get deals done and it works. And there they have a legit limit of, hey, if we're flying on planes every month to go look at houses 3 or 4 days at a time, we're only taking 10, 50K people at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I know it's a slight tangent from your like automated system here, but the point you just raised about having products at massively different prices is one that a lot of course creators miss out on. They think, right, I sell cheap do-it-yourself courses, or I sell a done with you program. And then they don't have the different price points.
You are leaving money on the table. I guarantee it. If you Google Perry Marshall and you look at his 80-20 curve calculator, which is free online, which should not be free in my opinion, but I've told Perry that he doesn't listen. You can type in how many people buy and what price are you selling at, and it will tell you at what additional higher prices, how many people will buy. And you can literally calculate using his formula how much money you left on the table. First, you'll kick yourself, and then you'll go, oh my God, I'm sitting on a gold mine and I just need to create higher priced offerings to go get all of the rest of that money.
And we've got a client who was just do-it-yourself courses and had got a relatively limited sized audience at that point. And he was making about 10,000 a month. We got him from like 3,000 to 10,000. And we said to him, okay, if you also add in a group coaching program for, I forget exactly what, but let's say like 5, 6, 10 times as much money. It was something in that kind of ballpark. A small selection of people will also buy that and you can double your revenue. And so that's what he did. And so now he's at like 20,000 a month. And it's just the same audience, but just having another offering that people can spend a lot more money on.
Absolutely. I think Perry's got the algebraic formula that was in Harvard Business Review on his website. However, just simple rule of thumb, at least 20% of the people who buy will take an upsell. You got to offer. I mean, please, they want to give you more money. If they don't give it to you, if you don't offer it, somebody else will, and they'll go buy it from your competition.
Yeah, the absolute 2 simplest things we tell every course creator to make more money: set up an order bump and set up an upsell. Like, even if you don't have the 10 times as expensive, all bells and whistles thing, have something else that people can buy. Because some people have their wallet out and they're ready to spend money with you. And they're just like, please take my cash. You have to make it easy for them to spend money with you.
Yeah. And one other thing I'll share is that nobody buys one thing, right? Everybody buys more. When you are in heat, when you're in a buying state, you don't just buy one thing. I mean, when I decided over the pandemic, I wanted to learn guitar. First, I bought an acoustic guitar. Then I bought a tuner. Then I bought sheet music. Then I bought an app to learn on. Then I bought an electric guitar. I bought an amp. I bought 2 different online guitar coaching programs because I saw Facebook ads and said, ooh, I'll take that. I'll take that. That looks awesome. Then my daughter got into it. She now has 2 different guitars. Like, a buyer's a buyer is a buyer. They're going to keep buying. Make sure that you give them plenty of opportunities to keep buying from you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Slight tangent there. Back to the automated marketing system. What's some of the ways that people can go about setting that up?
Well, I think we, again, overcomplicate things and people get shiny object syndrome. And this week, they themselves take a course and learn Facebook ads. And then TikTok is hot. So now I'm going to go learn about TikTok ads and download a bunch of ebooks on TikTok ads. And I got to do YouTube. And they get shiny object syndrome and they do a tiny bit of a little each thing. And they go really narrow, really shallow and wide. And they get lackluster results from all of them. So the solution to that is you pick one target market. You pick one media place you can reach them, and you make them one offer. And you keep fine tuning that in the same niche over and over and over again until you've dug all the gold out you can. And then you say, okay, I have an offer that works for this target market in this media. Okay, let's say it's TikTok. Is there another place they hang out? Okay, they're on YouTube. Okay, so now after I've printed all the money I can on TikTok, I'm now going to go start learning YouTube ads and see if I can print a whole lot of money there. Don't get shiny object syndrome and take 7 courses and do a little bit of everything and get frustrated. It's hard. We all want to learn what's new, but pick, here's my target market. This is the place they are the most often that I can most affordably reach them. I'm going all in on that one location, marketing the heck out of it until I, make all the money I want to make before I look at another place to go advertise.
Got it. Beautiful. And for most of our audience, they've already got an audience somewhere. They've already got organic traffic. And one of the things that I hammer with people, because people often say to me, right, I want to do ads. And I'm like, okay, you haven't made the most of the audience you've already got. And they're the ones who are already found you organically. They're the most likely to buy. Get the funnel right for them before you even start thinking about ads. Because otherwise, if a funnel doesn't convert with organic traffic, the chance of it converting with ads is pretty slim. It's unlikely that it's going to convert better with cold traffic than it is with warm traffic. Like I've never seen.
Absolutely.
So get that and then add in one type of ads. Like, okay, it could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram or TikTok or what have you. But for crying out loud, don't try and do, sounds like you're saying, just don't go broad, just take one until you get really good at it. And then maybe you can think about another one.
Yeah, absolutely. You might get bored. Your clients aren't, they're not bored. They don't care that you're not on 17 different platforms doing a lousy job and you're only doing a really good one on one. You might get bored, but you've got to resist that temptation to, ooh, I saw something from Warrior Forum, or ooh, I saw some email that Perry Belcher sent out, or I saw a Facebook ad and that looks super cool. You got to resist all that and do one thing really, really well. Steph Curry doesn't play basketball and baseball and football and hockey. Right? He said, I'm going to be the best in the world at shooting threes and then making a darting cut to the basket with a layup. And he did it. And that's why he just won another NBA championship, because he devoted his entire life in his case to doing that one thing, that point guard position and that 3-point shot really, really, really well. If he played a little bit of every sport, you wouldn't know who he is.
Perfect. Okay, so to summarize again, we've got figure out your target audience, figure out where they are, figure out your positioning, get your magical marketing proposition, and then figure out your automated marketing system, which involves a lot of focus, being willing to be bored, just keeping on going until you've absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, who, what, where, why, and how are those 5 principles. We just barely scratched the surface here today. I know we're running out of time, which is why we have a very special offer for your listeners. We've written, I think it's about a 30-page ebook that maps out a deeper dive on all 5 of those and teaches you how to grow a cult of 50 affiliates or evangelists who will promote your course every week for a year with no advertising budget. That normally sells on Amazon for $14. If your folks go to growyourown.cult.com, they can get it for 50% off. I promise you it is the best $7 you will ever invest in your marketing. If you are not happy, I will give you your $7 back.
That is growyourown.cult.com. And we'll put the other links we mentioned during the show into the show notes as well for how to fascinate and the 80/20 curve.com. Amazing. Seth, Sam, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. This has been eye-opening. I've definitely learned a lot from it and really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom.
Thanks so much. It was a lot of fun. Happy to help. Again, we market for course creators all the time. So learn from our lessons. We figured it out. We've made tons of mistakes and got it down to a science where it works almost all the time now.
Beautiful. And that website again was growyourown.cult.com. All right. Thanks very much for listening, everybody, and talk to you next time.